Virtual program from the Waldwick Public Library. I thought because we're having our virtual Harry Potter week this week, we would read a tale from the Tales of Beedle the Bard. Today we're going to read the tale of the three brothers. There were once three brothers who were traveling along a lonely, winding road at twilight. In time, the brothers reached a river too deep to wade through and too dangerous to swim across. However, these brothers were learned in the magical arts, so they simply waved their wands and made a bridge appear across the treacherous water. They were halfway across it when they found their path blocked by a hooded figure. Death spoke to them. He was angry he had been cheated out of 3 new victims for travelers usually drowned in the river. But Death was cunning. He pretended to congratulate the 3 brothers upon their magic and said each had earned a prize for having been clever enough to evade him. The oldest brother, who was a combative man, asked for a wand more powerful than any in existence, a wand that must always win duels for its owner, a wand worthy of a wizard who had conquered death. So Death crossed to an elder tree on the banks of the river, fashioned a wand from a branch that hung there, and gave it to the oldest brother. The second brother, who was an arrogant man, decided he wanted to humiliate Death still further. He asked for the power to recall others from death. So Death picked up a stone from the riverbank and gave it to the second brother, and told him the stone would have the power to bring back the dead. Then Death asked the third and youngest brother what he would like. The youngest brother was the humblest, but the wisest of the 3 brothers. He didn't trust Death. So he asked for something that would enable him to go forth from that place without being followed by Death. Death, most unwillingly, handed over his own cloak of invisibility. Then Death stood aside and allowed the 3 brothers to continue on their way, and they did so, talking with wonder of the adventure they had had, admiring Death's gifts. In due course, the brothers separated, each for his own destination. The first brother traveled on for a week or more, reaching a distant village, sought out a fellow wizard he had a quarrel with. And naturally, the elder wand as his weapon, he couldn't fail to win the duel that followed. Leaving his enemy dead on the floor, the oldest brother proceeded to an inn where he boasted loudly about his powerful wand that he had snatched from death itself and how it made him invincible. That very night, another wizard crept on the oldest brother as he lay, wine-sodden on his bed. The thief took the wand and, for good measure, slit the oldest brother's throat. So Death took the first brother for his own. Meanwhile, the second brother journeyed to his own home, where he lived alone. He took out the stone that had the power to recall the dead, turned it 3 times in his hand, and to his amazement and delight, the figure of a girl he had once hoped to marry before her untimely death appeared once before him. But she was sad and cold, separated from him as if by a veil. Though she had returned to the mortal world, she didn't belong there and suffered. Finally, the second brother, driven mad with hopelessness and longing, killed himself to join her. There's Death. So Death took the second brother for his own. Death searched for the other brother for many years. He was never able to find him. It was only when he attained a great age that the third and youngest brother finally took off the cloak of invisibility and gave it to his son. Then he greeted Death as an old friend and went with him gladly as equals. And he departed this life. And that's the end. Thank you for joining us today. We'll see you soon with another virtual program from the Waldwick Public Library.